Hello, witch folk. Welcome to our coven.
We're angels on broomsticks. We're a mother-daughter duo.
And we love the makeup.
I'm Kristen.
And I'm Evangeline.
And today, we've got a bitches,
Martinis and Makeup.
And today we've got the Aperol Spritz.
Which I think we always have. We need to get it more original, but...
Yeah, I still hear the cicadas outside, so we're still summer.
It's true.
Yeah.
They were buzzing this morning. So.
Yes, so...
The last of it, maybe.
You're going to be happy. Today we're going to discuss season 2 of And Just Like That.
Yes.
You don't have to watch the show to hate it. But you don't have to watch the show to follow along. You'll get it. It'll be about themes and, issues that women go through. So, yeah. So we're going to do a full face of makeup. And we're both going to use the Denona.
I need a nude. I need a nude. It's so beautiful. And I think this was a good choice in terms of, well, not that In Just Like That is of the 90s, but Sex and the City is of the 90s and the early aughts. And I feel like this color story, whenever I've used it, is giving me those vibes. Mm-hmm. So I think it's appropriate enough.
Carrie Bradshaw. Yeah. Carrie is the one who kind of wears... They're all wearing eyeshadow this year, though. Like... I've noticed their makeup in Just Like That. Whereas they never noticed their makeup in Sex and the City.
Yeah. I remember in the movie, there's this one scene in the second movie where Charlotte has like cerulean blue eyeshadow on. I thought that was cute. When they have the cocktail together, just her and Miranda.
Like scene. Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, so we'll start with
full
the
face.
base.
Full face.
We won't talk about the makeup per se.
No.
But we'll talk about... Let's talk from the beginning of season 2.
Okay.
The whole season, though, it's got a much lighter tone. And especially when we start, because they're at the Met Ball. Met Cute is the name of the episode. And the very, very first shot is like we're seeing what they're doing. Who's boning who, essentially.
Oh, yeah. Isn't every shot someone having sex with someone?
Someone having sex. Carrie's boning... her podcast producer, Miranda's still boning Shay. Seema's boning that hot Italian. Charlotte and LTW are boning their husbands.
Good
and the only one who's like kind of doing what I'm doing is Naya, who's watching the Netflix. Yeah, so that's cool. Yeah, so some of them are invited to the Met Ball. Miranda's still in LA. There's not too much to say about this episode except I think it's cute that they resurrected that Vivienne Westwood wedding dress because her designer kind of made a mistake with her sizing of her Met Ball gown. Yeah. It was ugly anyway.
Yeah, what was that?
It was like, it looked like something...
Wasn't it striped?
Yes, like... Fabric. She must have been dying.
It looked like, almost like the dress. That dress that everyone was like, what color is it?
Oh, yeah, the dress.
I don't know, it gave me those vibes.
It was ugly.
I feel bad for that.
But what's funny, though, she did resurrect, like, because the theme was veiled beauty. Mm-hmm. So she resurrected the dead bird.
The bird, yeah.
And that's up for auction now. Did you know that?
I did see that, yeah.
So
that would be a very, very cool thing to own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would like to own that, too.
It seems like very on point, very on theme to be having her come back to that dress because it is that sort of, I don't know, resurrection of something and her moving on.
Technically, she didn't wear it for its purpose. So.
Exactly. She never got married to Big in that. Which she made sense. Because when she did get carried away with that wedding, that outfit was ridiculous. A little bit.
I liked it.
I never liked that dress. The empty boobs.
Oh, yeah, the empty boobs.
It's weird.
Well, it's like a sort of champagne flute. But, so Seema, by the end of that episode, we know Seema's going to be dumping that Italian dude because he lives with his... wife and he asked her for money, which is gross. You never ask for money. Don't you think it's really tacky
to ask for money?
He asked her to invest
from anybody or from a woman.
Well, okay. Do you want me to say it? Yes. From a woman you're dating.
Oh, yeah. For a man to ask, yes. Okay.
A man to ask from the woman he's dating, do you have and a lot of money to invest in this frickin' that's gonna be a disaster. So anyway, she said no and fucked off. So that's the end of that. And then the next episode is called The Real Deal. And okay, so it's a lot to do with, we bring on the kids again. And little, whatever her name is, Lily, is selling her Chanel dresses because she wants to be essentially Taylor Swift. Not a fan of the children's stories, but I know they exist and we have to watch them.
Yeah, they don't need their own plot lines so much.
No, because it does become, it's like, what is this Modern Family? I'm not into that show really.
I don't.
You hate that show.
I know.
I'll watch it, but I don't seek it out.
It's like
I get why people
Bang
like
Theory
it.
Vibes, The Office. I don't like any of those.
Oh, I like The Office.
I don't know. I'm like the only person on the planet who doesn't like The Office, I think.
You are.
Anybody doesn't like The Office? Maybe I just haven't given it enough of a try. Anyway.
But anyway, the worst part of this episode, and makes me so freaking mad, is Carrie's still doing the podcast, still boning Buddy Boy. And you know how when you listen to a podcast, they do commercials? Mm-hmm. So they're doing the recording for the commercials. And, whatever, the one for, mind help, whatever. And then she's starting this other commercial. And it's like, do you feel itchy down there? And it's like, oh! Yeah. She cannot say the word vagina. Vagina. She can't say. I'm saying vagina because who knows if we can say it.
I'm sure we can.
But come on. She's a sex writer and this embarrasses her. And it's like, how old am I? 60? Uh-huh. I have vagina problems now. I could use this vagina cream they're talking about. And why, you're doing me a disservice. You're making me feel embarrassed that I have itchiness down there.
Contributing to the stigma. Did you notice that, you don't know because you don't get ads for You Up. But they did that commercial. They've done that commercial many times. So I thought it was funny because Jordana, and I'm pretty sure Jared, has done that commercial for the Itchy Vagina supplement or probiotic or whatever.
I don't get what?
You don't get ads for You Up because you pay for premium, but they have done this ad.
Oh, I do pay for premium. Okay.
It's a real ad that's in a podcast we listen to.
So it's like, I have this problem. I would like to get a cream for that. I had to resort, because I didn't know what cream to get. I ended up on frickin' Amazon and got some random cream.
Really?
Yeah.
From Amazon. I just go to
that's what my friend said. I don't understand. No, I'm not going to a doctor for an itchy vagina.
That's a great reason to be going to the doctor. I would not be buying creams off Amazon. Anyway. Yeah, she can't say the words. And then what I don't like about that waterfall of a plot line then is that after that, then the podcast gets canceled because people want to cancel their funding and everybody gets fired. And it's like, really? I'm sorry, but let's not put everything on that.
Yeah, and it's like, Carrie, you really dropped the ball with your friends. But she ends up dumping this guy anyway because she's just doing him on Tuesday or Thursday Thursdays. And he wants to do something on Tuesday. Something's dumb. Anyway, he's hot.
He wants more, and she's not.
I think he's hot. So then next episode is called Alive, and Enid is back. One of my favorite characters of all time on Sex and the City. And it's Candice Bergen. She's back, and she's got a online magazine instead of a magazine. She got fired from Condé Nast, essentially. So Carrie thinks she wants her to write for this magazine and agrees to go to some party with none other than the iconic Gloria Steinem, which is amazing that she's on the show. So turns out, no, she doesn't want Carrie's writing. Why would I want you to write? Because she's probably a terrible writer, Have we ever really written?
What?
Carrie. Like, if she can't say the word vagina, how good could she write, really? And just like that. Could she be a good writer? You tell me, guys. Have you read anything she read?
Well, she's
a fictitious character.
Okay, but she's probably, what is she the equivalent of in our worlds? She's successful.
Well, she's no Samantha Irby.
Well, Samantha Irby's writing for the show, and I can't tell you she's doing anything particularly...
Samantha Irby's not the only writer on the show. I think Samantha Irby is the person who's making the best parts of the show. Okay. We all know that. And again, the show isn't that bad. Guys.
It gets better after this.
I like the show. I love it. I've seen it so many times. It's ridiculous. Anywho, she wants money. Carrie gives her money. And just like that.
And saying you'll plug my book on your podcast or whatever it is.
And then next episode is Trick or Treat. Where Carrie meets that hot guy. The tech guy. You know the guy, and he was in Sex and the City.
Oh, remember? that guy, yeah. He's also in that other show, Younger.
Dude. He is the hottest guy, I think, on TV. I do.
in this episode, not so much, but in Younger.
He rides a bike, and you know that's my...
Cyclist.
I have a real pet peeve for middle-aged men in cycling gear. And it's like they're all big babies. And he gets in an accident or something and she has to help him out.
But he's a big baby in that
He's a big baby, but he's hot. I think he's very good looking. He reminds me of Dick Van Dyke. I still like Dick Van Dyke, and he's in his 90s.
I have no idea even what he looks like, but...
You know Dick Van Dyke.
I know the name, but I just don't have a face.
When I was 4 years old, that was my very first crush, Dick Van Dyke.
When you were 4? Oh my god.
4. Yeah, who was your first crush?
I do remember it was, I think, Aladdin.
Oh, and he's a cartoon. Okay. Anyway, things don't work out with that guy, obviously. I don't remember what happened. Do you?
Oh, it kind of got its stride a little bit because she's dating again, right? And that... It reminded me of every episode of Sex and the City where it's like you encounter a man and it's sort of like, what's his ick?
Yeah, what's his ick? Problem? I love that, the ick factor.
And his ick is that he has this partner that he's in the tech world with, like partner it's as like in your investment partner or whatever, who kind of is his wife.
Yeah, it's really bad.
Like, I think you better like talk to your wife or something.
Yeah, it was bad.
This guy likes FaceTiming him constantly, like... entering his house unannounced, that kind of thing. So,
but he did have a cool apartment. We have to.
Oh yeah, it was cool. But I thought at the end of that episode, I remember feeling when I watched that, like, oh, that was fun. That's what I want.
Yeah, me too.
And
that's the Sex and the City I like.
To bring the conversation a little broader in terms of like why this reboot's kind of had struggles getting on its feet, and many people know this. It's like it's just trying too hard with the wokeness and kind of making leftist politics look ridiculous a little bit because it's like, let's just focus on every single issue so we don't get canceled by something. But like when you're just focusing on the relationships, the fun sex stories, the dating stories, that's what this show always exceeds at. And that's when it starts to get its stride again in this reboot because we're not focusing on let's introduce a ton of new characters. And
having said that, I love the new characters, but I'd love them to have their own show, to be honest. I don't want them on... They could be on the show, but not... We don't need to really be focusing on their storyline. Like, the next episode is called Bomb Cyclone. It's kind of neat, because it's in winter, and we rarely get real snowstorms. It's very fake-looking, but it's got really good fashion.
Yeah, cool and winter fashion, eh?
We do focus on LTW going into... I really kind of thought it was kind of cool because she has to do something. It's a snowstorm and she's going to some place. I don't really follow this plot, you know? Like, but I know she's going to some place and she's like got these bags and she's walking in the snowstorm.
I do have that scene in my head so
I love it. And then she goes into the bathroom. She's just like takes everything off and everything's so like that. I'd be whirly.
Everybody would.
But she's like.
I do sort of love her commitment to the preservation of her beauty.
Yeah.
And it's like, how do I get through the snowstorm perfectly intact to look phenomenal? Like, basically, she walked off a red carpet.
Yeah. Always looks great.
And then we have the plot of Charlotte looking for condoms for her daughter Lily, who's going to have sex for the first time. And some people found that plot really lame. I wasn't mad at it.
Me neither.
It was fine.
That would be something I would do.
I'm glad.
Can you imagine me doing that? I could.
Going in a snowstorm to get condoms for your daughter.
my daughter.
Well, yeah, that's what I liked about it. We're seeing Charlotte being a good mother, and that's a good mother. Yeah. I mean, although Lily's a brat, go get your own condoms. There's a whole reason why she can't. Well, it's just showing,
because we are building up to in the next episode where we are seeing Charlotte is just losing herself to motherhood. And then the next episode's 100 years ago, where I think Aidan is he doesn't come in, does he? No, the next episode is February 14th.
Oh, Valentine's.
Yeah, and at some point, though, there's this dinner party with LTW, and they forgot to invite everybody to their anniversary party, which is ridiculous. But then it's the whole point of that whole episode is Charlotte gets the idea she might want to go back to work at a gallery. Okay, so, I mean, that's all we can say about that.
And Victor Garber's introduced. And how old is he? And he has like a 14, 12-year-old child.
Please don't get me started on grandpa dads.
I won't get you started. Because it infuriates you to no end.
It infuriates me to no end that any man like that age has children that age.
Yeah.
Hello, we know what we're looking at. You, Al Pacino. You, Robert De Niro. Yeah. What that? Just because you can doesn't mean you should. Am I right?
Yeah.
Am I right? Yes. So, anyway, Carrie writes to Aidan via the internet. Remember that episode in Sex and the City where she sends him an email?
Yeah, she ducks.
I love that.
Oh, wait, and then he goes on like, she ducks. Can he see me?
Okay, I still sort of do that kind of thing.
Get that vibe, like, oh my gosh.
It's like, I send something and I throw my phone away and run.
Those moments like that from the first series, I don't know. We're so relatable and so well written and so, I don't know, just authentic. I loved that. I loved that episode.
So he writes back, apparently, and just like that, I don't know. He's there, they're dating, they're using Che. In the meantime, Che and Miranda somehow broke up because their schedules are not right.
Oh, yeah.
They're just it's not jiving. Miranda's now got this internship she's excelling at
And Che lost their job on that television show they were supposed to have because there was what do you call that? A focus group who were sort of their characters so ridiculous and so unrelatable. It seems like a caricature of a trans person, essentially, which was really kind of like a meta moment, and that's what people think about Che in the series, that they're like this caricature rather than a real person, not actually feeling relatable.
And then...
So I like that.
Me too. What I like too is they end up working at their old job at the vet clinic.
Yeah.
Which is a Samantha Irby thing, because she used to work at a vet clinic. And that is when they are the best.
Yeah.
They're humble, they're fun. That's when they're funny. They are not funny as a stand-up.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. It creates a more authentic Che that you actually start to like. And yeah, I don't know. They knew what they were doing. Sort of pairing Che with animals, working at a vet clinic, trying to make rent in New York, rather than being this just bloated personality of weirdness that's not even relatable to anybody. I appreciated that.
Yes, me too. And I purposely forgot to say Miranda and Che had an almost three-way with...
Oh, yeah.
I blocked that. Because that episode really just... I'm not a prude, but it's why would that in any world ever happen? Oliver Hudson was Che's husband at one point. They're not divorced.
Yeah. I think everybody was internally cringing. I think my friend messaged me oh my God, ew, this threesome. It was just not
I will never have a threesome like that.
Like that?
No.
Will you ever have a threesome? Or have you?
I can't say I never will.
Have you?
Because no.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I haven't. I don't know what you got up to in your youth. My lips are so dry. I need lip gloss on now.
Anyway, it's very awkward threesome.
It doesn't.
I don't want to talk about
fruition.
it. Okay, and so then Aidan and Carrie are very hot and heavy, which is hot. I think it's kind of romantic. I don't hate it. I kind of am a team Aidan.
I've always been team Aidan.
You always have, eh?
Mm-hmm.
I haven't.
Mm-hmm. Were you ever team Big though?
Yeah, I was always kind of the big stupid idiot. I believe that's stupidity on my part.
I don't hate Big. I just
do.
thought
I think
Aidan...
he's a bad person.
I don't.
I do.
Though. But then we have this big revelation of Carrie saying to Miranda, was Big a big mistake?
It's a very important part of the show. I think that's kind of,
the point of the
whole it's really
season.
good. Yeah, it's really a powerful statement, I think.
But there's never really an answer to that.
Well, we're still going. Thankfully, there'll be a season 3. Carrie buys a really cool apartment in Gramercy. Meantime, Seema is now starting to date this film director that she meets because she has to rent him a house or an apartment. He's like one of those kind of movies I don't want. What are like Marvel movie type? He's very famous.
Action.
But not in real life. I mean, people kind of laughed at Aidan's, military jacket. But this guy shows up in like like this shawl collar thing with a casual like bathrobe.
Oh, I don't even remember that.
It was gross. I don't like that.
I mean, they call it the Aidan jump scare when Aidan's first introduced because it's like Carrie's looking for him and there he is. Hey. Why did they do it up to the top? That was just the problem. Men, do not do your jacket ups.
No.
To here.
You can wear a scarf.
Can you imagine any men even watch this? I feel
they're not watching. There's no man watching this.
Not a single one.
Not a single one. So she buys an apartment in Gramercy. That's like a dream. And it's for Aidan and her, and he's still got those Tater boys. Tater.
It's not even an apartment though. It's a fucking house.
They call it a 2-story apartment.
What? What's that even mean? It's beautiful,
it's got 2
massive
stories.
house.
I know, because what it's got is like windows in the back. Like it's like
God,
you know how you're in an apartment. Usually you just have one side as windows.
It's beautiful. I love it. Oh, I'd live there in a heartbeat.
Me too. Not really, because I'm downsizing. But she's got 4 bedrooms for the Tater kids. Tater, Homer, and Wyatt. And in the meantime, Steve.
We talk about
what?
Oh, Steve, yes.
Steve bought a restaurant on Coney Island. That's cute.
Mm-hmm. It is cute, and
he and Miranda are going to become friends. That kind of, good. They had a bad fight at one point where Steve said the worst thing to her, and it actually made me cry.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Where, she comes home, they were still sharing their Brooklyn place, and she comes home, and he says, it escalates and goes, and you didn't even want Brady. You didn't even want Brady. And she's like, her face, she deserves an Emmy for that. Mm. She's such a good actress, I think. Even when to be honest, like, people go on about the deification of her character, but my interpretation is, she's an L3. She's a late life lesbian. Mm. And so she became kind of reverted into, like, not even teenagehood, but, like, when you're 12 and you're gushing and you're, like, she just reverted to some childhood response.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. She became back, once she broke up with Che, she became back to normal. She went on a date, though.
Mm-hmm.
That was funny.
I love that episode.
She goes on a date with the woman from Emily in Paris, isn't it? Isn't she from that?
I've never seen that.
No, she's from Younger, too. It's not Emily. She was from Younger. And this woman's apartment was exactly how you would imagine. No, you wouldn't imagine it if you didn't live in New York, because you couldn't believe how tiny it was. But that's what apartments look like in New York. Like, the fridge is basically on the counter.
And they're kissing, and Miranda steps back and steps into the cat litter box.
Yeah, it looked exactly what a realistic apartment.
Yeah. But it was not a good date.
But she was able to just sort of slink out. Neither here nor there. So there's also Anthony. Anthony hooks up with an Italian boy.
Yeah.
I don't have too much to say about Anthony, except for there was good for him. He's a top. And the whole thing is, will he be a bottom? Of course. You can switch. Am I right?
Yeah.
You can be whatever you want to be in this world. Top, bottom. But there is a really good scene with him and Carrie. She brings him to his apartment, or invites him to her apartment. Oh. There's cocktails, and she's got a letter from Stanny. And Stanny's ends up in Japan, and he's a monk now.
Yeah.
And it's really poignant, because she reads a part of the letter to him, like he's just happy being without material items, and he gives everything over to him with love, and to Anthony, and why wouldn't he tell me himself? Because you'd make fun of me. Yeah, which is true. And then they do the toast, and Carrie's drinking, the Cosmo, but she's guzzling it, and then she does a wink. Mm-hmm. And you know what that is. That's the actual real SJP winking a toast to, Willie Garson, who really passed away in real life. And I know from hearing the Writers' Room podcast, they just didn't have the heart to have him, die in the show. And I think that was a really good choice, to be honest.
Because, how else would you send off, a character like that and honor them? Yeah, I kind of teared up. Even though it has a touch of the absurd to it, it also has a very kind of touching humanness, and to think that that's his fate for the show.
Yeah.
To be happy.
Yeah, to be happy, and this show's so much about material things, and then he's just rejecting it.
Yeah.
I thought it was sweet. And then the last two episodes of the show are called The Last Supper 1 and The Last Supper 2, because suddenly Carrie had won some Michelin star chef to come to her house to cook a Michelin star dinner for 15 of her friends. Yeah. Which is, how else would you explain that? Yeah. It's in a crazy...
This is how they're sending off her old apartment.
Yeah, and Lizette buys it, which is great. And hopefully... I'd watch a show about Lizette.
Yeah, true. Let's have Lizette be
that character. She's kind of milquetoast, but she probably could be a really good character.
Yeah.
For a TV show, like Mary Tyler Moore, modern day. Yeah, it doesn't wrap things up, because Aidan comes back.
He hasn't even entered her apartment.
Because they had to go to hotels, and then they rented Shay's apartment as an Airbnb, and then that's why she bought that apartment in Gramercy, because Shay wasn't allowed to Airbnb anymore.
There's a lot of sort of explaining of things.
I know, it sounds like it's something. When I was a kid, my friends and I would make up stories, we'd swing on the swing, and we'd make up crazy ass convoluted stories.
And then this is. And then this happens.
And then this happens, and because of that, and then it's the whole Michelin thing. But of course, it brings in a love interest for Nyla. The chef is hot. And then Aidan comes in, and you know what? I don't want to talk about it. I really don't.
Okay, well, if you don't want to talk about it.
You talk about it.
Okay. So he's been spending a lot of time with Carrie because they're together again. She's got the new house, and she's met his kids, even though one of his kids is kind of standoffish, asshole teenager. And this standoffish...
We don't meet the kids.
No.
These are stories that go beyond what we know.
Which I kind of wanted to say, though.
Yeah, I know, but that's what's so bad. It's a terrible writing style.
Yeah.
Making up stuff in order for another plot to go along.
Yeah. Because essentially what happens is, because Aidan's spending so much time in New York, he lives in Virginia now, his kid, is it Wyatt?
Wyatt.
Was so upset that Daddy's not home anymore that when he's with Aidan's ex-wife, he's like, I don't know, 15 years old or something, he ends up going back to Daddy's house and stealing his car and getting drunk and crashing it and ending up in the hospital. So Aidan has to go back and get him, and anyway, he calls Carrie crying, being like, oh my God, my kid, he did this. And then all to culminate to this thing he says to Carrie, which is like, I have to be home with my child and be there for him.
For 5 years.
He gives the weirdest date.
5 years.
So for 5 years, I'm not coming to New York, and we'll pick up again in 5 years. It's a blink of an eye, isn't it? It's just absurd.
Where do you get this 5 years from?
Oh, because by that point he'll be 20 and not as in his teens.
Yeah, but so what?
So I don't know why they're doing this. Is this so we can have Carrie dating more people?
Hopefully. Go forth and date Carrie. She's got a huge apartment now. Yes, Miranda, you should move in there.
Oh, yeah, because Miranda's been essentially crashing on
because he's like, she's like, well, I can come visit. He's like, no. What? A lady boner killer, and then they end it with her having like the wildest sex where you see, you know, her half boob. Like she's always boning in her bra.
Wait, who?
Carrie. I've never seen her not bone in a bra.
Well, because the actor doesn't want to be naked.
So, we see her half boob.
Okay, well, anyway, we haven't even talked about the best plot line of all, Mom.
Which is...
Charlotte!
Oh, yeah,
Charlotte.
Okay,
she had the best plot in this.
Through the whole thing.
Well, we know she's gone back to the art gallery. She's going back to work, and she's basically telling Harry, you have to pick up some slack, because I'm going back to work. I do so much for these kids. Get them condoms and snowstorms and shit. And she tells the kids, don't rely on me for things, you know, because I'm going back to work. And all the kids are like, kind of like, ha, great, Mom. I'm glad you're getting out of our hair. You know, go live your life. And there's just some fantastic scenes with Charlotte having her kids call her from school with the most stupid requests. And it's like, she calls Harry and it's like, you deal with this. He's like, why? You deal with it. She's like, I'm making a sale to, who was she making? Sam Smith.
Yeah, he's
at the
cool.
gallery. And
he was so cool in that.
And then she gets really drunk at one point because she made this sale, and all her cohort of who she works with is like, let's go out. Every time we make a big sale, we go out and we get drunk. And Charlotte's like, no, I have to get back to my kids. And then she goes. She's getting all these texts, and she throws her phone in the margarita blender, and she's just getting wasted. And then she comes home, and like, Harry and her kids are like, where have you been? Where were you? And she's just drunk and be like, I do everything. And then she slams the door on them. And then the dog goes, and she opens it, come in, baby. And then slams the door on the rest of them.
So funny.
Such a relatable moment.
Relatable moment. Yeah, it's so funny.
Such a relatable moment. We don't slam the door on babies.
Yeah, Charlotte did have the best sort of arc, I think, in the whole thing. And you know, they focused a lot on LTW, and they did have a terrible plot line where she got pregnant for a minute.
Oh, God, I forgot about that.
And she thankfully bled it out. Sorry, Christians, but it was a natural.
No, they don't mind a miscarriage.
Okay, they don't mind miscarriage.
Yeah, it was a lot of plots. Like, as we sort of rehash this, I'm reminded of, like, oh, yeah, and that happened, and then that happened. And like you said, it's like a plot and a plot and a plot and a plot, rather than kind of like, I don't know, letting things simmer a little. We don't need to see so much action.
I really like the old Sex and the City, whereas on the most part, you didn't have to watch them in succession. You could watch one episode. They sort of stood alone, and they were sort of thematic. Like
yes.
the circus freak one, and then you know, Carrie dates these circus, like they're kind of circus freak type characters. They're not really, but like, and then Samantha gets involved in like trying to get plastic surgery, and the surgeon makes her look, yeah, it's funny.
Yeah.
And everybody has something that's sort of similar. And then off they go. They end the episode. And you never see these guys again, which is great. So
that's why I felt like that one episode with the guy from Younger had that tone that I was like, oh yeah, this is what it's all about. We just want these funny anecdotal things that are relatable, but also like this undertone of it being, I don't know, also emotional. I don't know. Where are you with your
Just have to do my
makeup?
lips.
Yeah, I did my lashes on camera. It's been a while since I did that.
We just had a lot to say, a whole season. We decided to not go season, like episode by episode. As cool as that would be.
Oh yeah, like our episode by episode.
Yeah.
Should I put lashes in front of the camera with you guys?
Yeah.
I'll show you what I've been up to. These are, these lashes I use are from, even though it's in a MAC package, it's not MAC, but they're from Kiss or something. And they're like these wispy lashes, and I cut them, and they're just perfect and light, and you don't notice them. When I go for glam makeup, I can't not have a lash, but I have been cutting back on lashes on my everyday time.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, like on there'll be a lot of days I don't. But honestly, when I do a makeup look that is a makeup look, you know, I don't feel complete until I have them on. But like for every day, threw something on in 10 minutes, I don't put a lash. We also have Samantha return for a cameo.
We didn't talk about that yet.
No.
But she's in the last episode, so the Last Supper Part 2. She just sort of appears as a phone call, but you see her. You get to see her. She's in a cab in London. She just couldn't make the dinner.
Yeah.
And she's funny. It made it feel like, oh yeah, back to normal for one brief minute.
Yeah. Yeah, we were saying just before we started filming it, it does feel like what, beyond anything that has been flawed about this reboot, it has been the lacking of Samantha. She is the missing link. Because she's the one who adds that comedic effect and makes sort of the absurdist plot lines somehow more reasonable.
Yeah, she does. Like, we do have Seema, who's very sensual, but she's not as outwardly crazy sexy. But she's sexy lady. But doesn't, and I love her character.
Yeah.
But she's no Samantha.
Yeah. She provides something different than Samantha.
Yeah. So, you know, she's more like Samantha normal. Yeah, Samantha is a character.
Yeah.
Definitely miss.
Yeah. Because she's a person who, in real life, couldn't really exist. She's a caricature of her own, but also, yeah, very authentic in the same way. So we're just missing her presence.
Yeah.
She makes a crack about an episode in the previous season about Annabelle Bronstein
from India.
I'm honestly shocked the writers remembered that.
Well, that's where you got Samantha Irby. I think she is a super fan and she remembers things.
Yeah.
You know, she's the one who remembered India. There's so many podcasts that are still talking about this show. Like Sex and the City. You could find. So it's like, how are the writers forgetting everything?
I don't know. But I noticed that in the Gilmore Girls reboot too.
Yeah.
And this is the danger of any reboot. You're sort of like, and we've said this before, you need superfans to consult. And something I noticed about Gilmore Girls, because I'm rewatching the series again too, they've brought up the septic. This is just a side tangent.
She loves this one, the septic tank.
I noticed the third time they mentioned it. There's this whole plot that like Stars Hollow goes to become off the septic system and gets sewers. There's 3 times they use this as a plot or an anecdote that I've counted. So it's happened 3 different times. I thought it was just twice.
And then the reboot.
And Yeah, and then in the reboot it's a thing, but it was already a thing twice mentioned separately.
Maybe it's it's a running joke.
No. Oh. They just forgot. Somebody has that in their back pocket. They think it's a funny thing that they forgot, and they've used it twice already. They forgot within a season of Gilmore Girls that it was a plot. So anyway. And I'm sure there's things we're missing. Even though we're super fans of like both shows like this, there's definitely things we've missed.
Like what?
I don't know, because we've missed it. Just things that are like, I'm just saying, that are inconsistent.
I don't think I've missed anything.
Okay. Anyway. Finished looks. I can't believe we did the whole thing on camera. Lashes, mascara, lashes, and everything. Wow. Season 3 predictions.
I just want it to be more Sex in the City. I know it's a different show. I don't want it to be Modern Family. I want Carrie to date. I want Seema to date. I hope she dumps that frickin' gross man. I think he's ugly.
Ugh. She loves him.
Ugh.
Yeah. We just want to see them having little, dating and all that. And we want Samantha back.
Dating. We want dates.
Yes.
So we don't have to.
We'll live vicariously through them. Well, yeah. Let us know if you've watched it. If you watched it just like that, did you stop halfway through? Did you continue on? Were you happy with some choices here? Do you hate it? Do you hate watch? Do you hate
watch it? I don't think I hate watch it.
No, I look forward to it.
I love it. I'm a super fan. I'm unapologetic about it. It's the girls. They're back. Why would I hate it?
Yeah.
I know people do.
I just wished for something different.
Well, we're not writing it.
No.
We're not invited.
Imagine we wrote it. What would we do? Huh?
Oh, and that's another thing what I hated about this is like they kept teasing us that there was going to be the Hamptons. Nobody loves those types of episodes more than me. Like anyone going to the Hamptons. I watch Roni, Real Housewives of New York, just so I can watch the Hamptons.
Yeah.
So why did they tease, and then they went to
Grease.
An ugly version of Grease? Sorry.
That was odd. Yeah.
I know
Hamptons episodes.
Why would you go to Grease?
No.
I was like, where's your cat? Who's taking care of your cat, Carrie?
Because Carrie's got a cat now. Shoo.
Yeah.
Shoo.
And you just go to Greece? Sorry.
Yeah.
That's a long trip.
Anyway. Yes. Anyway. I always end it like that. Anyway.
Well, anyway.
We'll see. We'll see what happens next time. We hope if you watched the series, you enjoyed our chats. And definitely comment down below your thoughts.
Yeah.
The good, bad, and the ugly.
Yeah. Little plots we missed because we didn't go through the kids, and we really didn't talk a lot about some other things.
Yeah.
Because I did kind of like the episodes when Miranda was in California. Because, Tony Danza was on it.
Oh, right.
Love Tony. Yeah. Love you, Tony.
Okay, I think that's it for today. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you next time. Stay witchy, stay bitchy. Have a good week. Bye, witches.